Hi there, meteorologist Robert Spetta here with you today on the 15th, going into the 16th of August, 2013. I hope you watched me here today on NHK World. I had a lot to talk about out here in Eastern Asia. We had Typhoon Utor, now Tropical Storm Utor, still dropping a tremendous amount of rainfall out here in southern China. Still very serious risk of flooding with this storm system. We could still see about 200 to 300 millimeters on top of, well, about 260 millimeters recorded in Guangdong province in the past 24 hours. So still a very serious threat with the storm system. Is going to continue to bring some heavy rains. Even out there towards Hong Kong, we're still seeing the rain bands push across here on radar. And really much of western Guangdong, eastern Guangxi, and southern Hunan, this is where the heaviest rainfall is still going to be here going through the next several days. Just showing the radar here. Unfortunately, it's not going to work farther towards the north to really break some of the drought conditions and the extreme heat central and eastern China happens. Good news for you though, if you are in the southern Japanese islands, there's rain in the forecast. This is true going over the weekend and the next week. Well, we're going to be having, well, a very unorganized tropical area pushing in from the south. And what I mean by unorganized, well, right now we have Tropical Storm Utor here. We have Invest 98W here, also being dubbed a low pressure area by Bagasa, and has been bringing some heavy rainfall in northwestern portions of Luzon. Really the last place you need the rain at this time after it was impacted there by Typhoon Utor. Still could be expecting up to about 200 to 300 millimeters in some areas, especially along the west coast, because they're expecting some moisture inflow when this area possibly develops. But we also have another area here. This is Invest 99W, and really the Japan Meteorological Agency in the next 48 hours expects not one but two tropical depressions. One's right at Miyakijima and the other one towards the southeast of Okinawa. Both of these are potential rainmakers, but the main thing is I think these are all going to be rotating around a center of circulation, and it's going to be a big monsoonal gyre type of system. I know the last couple days we have been doing updates on these two areas here in the tropics, and I know I've been hinting at the potential for this becoming a typhoon. Today, models have decreased on the intensity, also pushed back the initialization or the genesis of these storm systems, and that is true as well, but they have still been consistent on the development of them in general. So that is something we're going to be watching out for here into the next several days. Now, before I dive into at least a few of the models here, I do want to show you that there is this high pressure, the Tibetan high over central and eastern China, just dominating the weather here. Reason why Utor is staying farther down towards the south, you have the drought and extreme heat out here. Also, the same reason why you've been having those dry conditions across the southern Japanese islands is because of the Westpac high. Now, the good news is the Westpac high is retreating farther off here towards the north. Really, that's seasonal. It does move farther here towards the north. It's been farther towards the south this season, and it should have been up here by now, but now it is starting to move into that direction. We've been seeing the heat push all the way off there towards Hokkaido and in much of northern Honshu. So with that said, this is going to give room for this area to start to drift towards the north, but this high pressure ridge is still in place. It's going to act like a wall, act like a buffer, keeping the bulk of the precipitation farther down there towards the south. Now, the other thing that is happening, though, is that if we have these two tropical depressions forming next to each other, we're not going to be seeing a monster of a storm system, and that is key into this. Maybe a little bit of a Fujiwara effect, actually, with the two rotating, but it's because you can't have two systems so close to each other. They want to really have the energy for themselves out here, and they're going to feed off of each other, which is going to keep them relatively weak. With that said, though, what we're going to be having is a widespread area of precipitation without the damaging winds if the forecast that we're seeing today, vice yesterday, which had the damaging winds and the two systems merged. Like I said, the models have been going back and forth on it, and they've been pushing back the initialization of it. I think it's just because these two areas are there competing for the energy here. This is the nav gem going into midweek. What we can see, though, is, let's scroll back, actually, by Friday and the Saturday. We're already seeing the heavy rainfall across the southern Japanese islands. Some thunderstorms flaring up here, combined with the daytime heating. Saturday, you're going to see the thunderstorms. That is key. Friday night, you might even see a few showers or two, but Saturday, it's going to start. So finally, you're going to get a little bit of a relief out here. But then take a look ahead here into Saturday and the Sunday. Conditions continuing to persist. You're going to be seeing breaks in and out, but even by next week, it does look like that moisture flow is going to continue to spin around this large area rotating here over the East China Sea. Now I'm going to pull up the GFS model run, and I'll zoom in on the winds here in just a second, but I want to show you this actually has a similar output, a little bit stronger in intensity, but really just those scattered showers starting here over the weekend. This is on Friday, going into Saturday. You're going to be seeing those persisting showers, then heading out towards midweek. You see those showers, and this also drifts off there towards the west. Key thing to remember, it's meandering slowly, so that gives it time to organize. And when you get slow-moving systems, the intensity is not only somewhat erratic possibly, but also just the direction and exactly where it's going to be going. And we often see that, but that high-pressure ridge is going to continue to keep it in place. Let's take a look what the GFS is saying for their 06 model run. So here on Thursday afternoon is when this model was released, and we have that low-pressure area attempting to develop northeast of Luzon. Like I said, it is bringing the rainfall out here, and well, you have that moisture inflow with the monsoonal inflow right here, so you see those winds that's pulling that moisture off the South China Sea, and that's why we're looking at a pretty serious risk of flooding here in northwestern Luzon. But that moisture inflow is going to be wrapping around this area. Also, we see Invest 99W out there towards the east. Tropical depression in the future, according to the Japan Meteorological Agency. So I want to quickly show you a couple frames from this. Now, this is Friday around midnight into Saturday. We have a large area rotating here, and really at this time we're already seeing the merger of these two tropical depressions here by Saturday. And like I said, with them so close to each other, they're just going to competing for energy. Now, what would happen though, if we don't see this large monsoonal gyre type rotation, we have one here towards the north, one here towards the south. They're kind of doing a Fujiwara effect, and what that means is they're pinwheeling around each other. You have a mini high here in the middle, the low there, the low there. They're going to rotate around each other. If that doesn't happen and they merge together, then we'll see the circulation tighten up. If this scenario unfolds with that Fujiwara effect, the winds will not be that strong. And I want people to remember that. The winds will not be that strong if this does happen. Unfortunately, the rain will be persistent, and we're going to be seeing, well, widespread rain showers across most of the East China Sea here, even over there towards Taiwan as well. I'll pull up the MSL here from the GFS for the same time here. Now, this is on Sunday going into Monday morning, showing these widespread showers here across much of the East China Sea, and plus the moisture down there towards Luzon. And then another key frame here going into Wednesday. It's still there, so this is several days ahead. Widespread moisture across the East China Sea. We'll pull up the winds from the GFS model here. It's still picking up on it by next week. So really, the models, yeah, they have slightly been pushing it back, and they have weakened the storm system, but they have been rather consistent, and actually the time frame hasn't changed all too much. We've been expecting this to start to organize over the weekend into the mid part of next week. The only difference is that we have these two competing storm systems that are really just going to be stretching out the center of that low pressure area and really competing for the energy for it. Widespread rain though, yes, it's going to rain over the weekend. In short, just have an umbrella ready, and the risk of flooding is there, especially in some low-lying areas, some river flooding possibly, especially once we see the consistent rain kick up. Yes, it does flood in the southern Japanese islands. Don't let anybody tell you it does not. It is possible. But that is all for right now, everybody. Thanks again for watching here at westernpacificweather.com. If you sat through my whole video, just me rambling here, please let me know down in the comments section below. I always appreciate the feedback. Plus, if you have any comments or questions, please just let me know, and I'll feel free to answer them. Also, I'm on NHK World. I'm gonna put the link in that here below today. I typically don't, so yeah. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there, everybody. Bye.